Hello,
Hel-
dude. How are you doing?
What's up, dude? I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Fuck yeah. Always
Cool.
love to hear
Yeah.
it.
No.
So,
A friend of mine just got back into StarCraft and he said that he wanted me to, like, he challenged me to beat him with a Lurker build. So I figured I would consult with you before
yeah,
for
sure.
something.
Your buddy said that? Is
Yeah,
that okay? And what rank is your buddy? And what are you like currently at right now, you think?
Diamond 3.
Okay. All right.
He is
So,
also.
okay. Um so there's like two ways to kind of look at it, because if you want to like really like set up a build for like a one person specifically and not just like go play ladder on it 1,000 times, you can definitely kind of like tune it to what you want. And do you think you would do better with aggressive or like standard, like I wouldn't say defensive, but like more of a macro style lurker or more of a like an all in style lurker? Which do you think you would prefer?
All in style Lurker.
Okay. You're like, yeah, fuck. Fuck, making the game take longer. Okay, so I'll just straight up make one for you, okay? Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right.
Also.
Do you want to join the game straight up, or do you want to just kind of that way you can like see or do you want me to like show you? I guess I can just show you my screen through Discord too, if that works.
Yeah. Or again, yeah. What it's I can also just spectate you in game, or yeah, it is whatever
Yeah.
you prefer.
Are you on BattleNet right now?
Yes,
Are you on the European server or are you on the American server?
American.
Okay, you already messaged me. Thank you, Vibe. Is that your clan? Wait, what is that?
I just
Oh, that's your name.
figured
Is Thank
I'd
you, Vibe. Okay.
change my name. Yeah,
Oh hell yeah, dude.
once per season.
Oh fuck yeah. Thank you, Vibe. Fuck yeah, dude. Sick ID. Okay,
Yeah.
so I will make just any map really, and then I'll invite you to the game. And then this build will be like it'll be like a two base lurker into like you take a third wall, you set up an attack, more or less. And
Fake third or a real third?
Sorry, what'd you say?
Like a fake third or
Oh
a
no, it's
real?
gonna definitely be a real third, but like you won't actually utilize it until if the game continues after you do the attack.
Oh, I see.
Because if you all in him, you might not actually kill him.
Right.
It might just like fuck him up a bit. And then uh, do you have an idea how he plays, or do you have
Greedy.
okay, he's greedy. Does he? What tech does he like to go for usually? Is he Stargate player?
No, he's a Robo player.
Okay. Um, trying to think how this would best work for you then. I'm just theory crafting in my head. Like if I'm playing a greedy Protoss, and you're gonna go all in Lurker. Do you? Okay, so are you gonna do like just the best of one with him?
Oh
Or,
no, we play all the time.
oh, okay. Because I was thinking if like you're just gonna play him like one time, and then just like you can pick the map as well, and like really make a map build. But so the best way this is kind of what I'm thinking for you. Okay, this is what I'm kind of more or less thinking. So he's
Hmm.
Protoss, and if he doesn't go Stargate, that's in your favor. That's nice. What you can do is you can send like one Overlord to his base. That's gonna what's it called? Like scout his natural and all that bullshit like that. His opener essentially, and then you can send the next like four Overlords to the middle of the map and put them into some terrain spot that is like a cliff area until you get a layer started. And then once you start your layer, kind of position those Overlords, or like not even actually, it's after layer. Once you get like your Lurker den started, then you position those Overlords in a way where they're going to be in the middle of the fucking field to give you like a creep spread, and then you make three queen, and your third queen starts spreading creep towards the middle of the map as well. You just literally don't worry about creeping anywhere else besides going straight down the middle, so that you can make reinforcements come faster when you're doing your attack.
Mm. Yeah.
So, and then basically the build's going to be just Hydra Lurker and I still think you should make some roaches. I think if you just skip roaches, you're probably going to get fucking owned if he plays. Because I assume he doesn't do the same thing every game, so there's a chance you could die. But you don't need to make a lot of roaches. You just may make some. Anyways, we'll start it up. We'll see how it feels. I'll tell you. I'll give you my stamp of approval on this or not. It's been a while for me since I played, but if it sucks, I'll do another one for you. But if I think it's good, then we'll work from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think a 2 base Lurker build would be your best bet here. So we're gonna skip Zergling speed straight up. That's why Rich One's kind of important, I think, because you don't really want to be going Link speed if you're gonna go for an all-in like this, because it's like a tech all-in, not a Link speed all-in.
Right.
Okay, so first Overlord's going across the map to scout the base, and then gotta make our Overlord. And then we're going to go for probably like a 20 gas. So our build's going to be like 16 hatch, 18 pool, 20 gas, something like that. And the reason why that works out so well is because it allows us to start a layer as soon as the queen's done. Get it like on time, like at that exact moment. Okay, send a drone down to take your natural. Okay, and we're going to go for an 18 pool. And then let your drones pop out before you build your pool. Like, obviously, you can't even build it anyways, but definitely don't rip off your mineral line at this point. And now we have enough to make it, so we'll grab this guy. Okay, and then 20 gas. And we'll chill with our Overlord here in front of your natural, just in case he wants to cannon rush you, right? Just be careful about that. Have your second or your natural Overlord kind of scouting around for that, and then as soon as it's done scouting, you'd want to put it somewhere like right there on this map, in the very middle, so you can have a creep highway. Okay, so now we take our gas, our 20 gas, send the Overlord down here now because that hatchery is almost done. Okay. Take another Overlord to the middle of the map. And then as soon as our natural's done, or sorry, our queens are done, we're gonna make another queen at the natural, and we're gonna make our lair like right away. And then as soon as we take our lair, we're gonna make a roach horn really soon after that. That way, in case he rushes you, you don't just get fucking owned. So there's our queen, and here's our lair. We just injected, so we're good on that. And now you can make a roach horn, just to play it safe. So far, our build seems pretty simple. And then...
Yep.
Okay, make a bunch of drones. Start making creep, and we'll just only make creep going towards the center. You can hide your Overlord as natural and stuff like that. Okay, now that we're fully saturated on our bases, we're going to take all of our gases. And now we're just going to make just like 3 roaches. Literally just like 3 roaches and stop. This way, in case he does like adept harass to you, that's like a little bit delayed after like you would have had lings. Let's say, because like 1 or 2 adepts can be denied by your queens. That's fine. But if it like turns into a situation where it's like fucking like 5 adepts or something like that, you definitely need something. So the 3 roaches will definitely help you with that. But you're not trying to overdo it because you don't want to delay your all in. So now we have a lot of drones on our gas. We've just now cooked up our gas pretty heavily. And now let's get our Overlords here pretty soon. We're going to get them shitting creep in position. Okay, get a Lurker den. And I would say now would be the good time to build your third base. Like once you start making hydras, because you're going to be a little bit limited on gas with this kind of a situation here. You're not going to have like unlimited amounts of gas. And now that you're starting hydras, now this is when you want to get your overlords crap and creep out in the middle of the map, so you can really like speed up this creep process. Okay. And now I would say save a little bit of your gas. Just for a sec. You're going to want to make like 3 lurkers. And you could even start like poking across the map a little bit. And now start making drones behind this. Just simply because you're gonna be so tied up on gas. And you're not gonna have enough fucking money to make more gas units, and you don't want to make lings right now anyways, because you're not trying to do anything besides pressure with lurker and then follow that up with more units over time. So now you would be pushing it. Now you can go back to making hydras because you made it like 3 lurkers and now your gas is freed up again. You could be like, oh, let's say he has a third base. You can just start pressuring his third base and stuff with lurkers like this. Guard your lurkers and keep making more units to come assist your army. And then now at this point your third base is done, so your creep spreading queen could go saturate your third, take a couple more gases at your third, and then just keep making more lurkers. And then, you know, like leapfrog your lurkers forward, like boom, boom, boom. Every time he tries to attack, you defend the lurker, and now you have like hydra speed on the way, and you're just like growing an army essentially, if that makes sense. And you progressively grow your lurker count as you can, but you don't want to make too many. Like I would say 3 to start is great, and then after that try to just make hydras to support them. And then if you take a fight, let's say you have like a little bit of gas in the bank, you have a 400 gas in the bank, you can add on like a couple more. I think you should never go above like 8 lurkers though total. If you ever make it to that point, don't even go above 8 lurkers if you're like all-in your opponent. It's going to be to the point where it's like too much. The only reason why you want lurkers in this situation is so that you can it's so that you can fucking force the opponent to react to what you're doing. It's not because like the lurkers aren't supposed to kill everything. They're supposed to make him come out and defend himself. So if he doesn't, his base is going to die over time. But if he does come out and defend, your lurkers are just there to do extra DPS, but they also are actually like just creating an engagement, which your hydras then will then actually take and take the fight. And your hydras get good concave and positioning and stuff like that when you take the fight. And that's essentially it. Like this is the whole opener of the build. 2 base, super simple. And then you do your attack. I would say 3 lurkers to start, and then making drones behind it's ideal, because the thing that's bad about lings is if you make lings, it does spend your minerals, right? And you don't have to spend your gas with that. But however, if you get ling speed, it's going to delay your timing attack because ling speed is gas, and we're already stretching your gas super thin as it is. And if you make lings, it defeats the purpose of lurkers sieging, because lings are going to run in and die before the lurkers actually accomplish anything. So really what is nice here is if you siege with lurkers and you make him come towards you. So far, after this, do you have any questions about what we just went through? I think that's actually a pretty decent build.
Yeah, that looks like a cool build, yeah.
Another thing you can do too is you could actually add in a few more queens if you wanted to as well. Like around the time when I said you can start making drones now, you could pull you could inject one more time and then pull all of your queens, like all 3 queens, and then make 3 more queens. You could do that too. And then you could have a couple queens to like transfuse your lurker. Because if you're going to have a creep highway anyways with a couple overlords in front and then creep spreading towards the middle, as your queens pass like your further down overlords, you could just drop like a tumor there. Or something like that as well. Just to like really speed it up.
Yeah.
So, the only thing you got to do, I would say, is maybe one thing that you could add into the build as well that we didn't say in that game. I mean, that game is versus an AI, but versus a real player, maybe actually make 4 lings. No speed, but just make 4 lings as soon as you start your 2 queens. And the reason why you would do that is because, number 1, in case he attacks you with his first unit he makes, let's say he makes Adept first and Chrono Boost it out, those 4 lings would help you not lose a drone before your queens are out. And then also on top of that, those 4 lings could then go and scout and see where he's taking a 3rd base. So you know what angle you want to attack from without having to run out there blind and be like, or like sacrifice an overlord or something. And you also don't want to run out with one of the 3 roaches. You definitely want that to be defensive, because if he attacks you with some adepts, you definitely want to make sure you kill those ASAP. So yeah, make like 4 lings as well when you make 2 queens, and then that'll be like a super solid at just getting you some extra scout info for where he expands towards.
Nice.
Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Do you want to try it yourself, and I'll kind of guide you through it this time to get you some like muscle memory on it?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay. Because yeah, I think that probably would be a good way for you to like, kind of like memorize it, like instead of just kind of like trying to fucking send it yourself. Yeah, exactly. You're just gonna wing it and be like, I think he said this.
Then it was like Mutalisk. No.
Yeah. Wait. Oh shit! It's not even Lurker build. I think he told me to make a Spire right now.
And then he was just banging my head on the keyboard.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. So, would you like me to kind of walk you through it again, or you want to try and attempt it yourself?
No, I think you're gonna have to walk me through it.
Okay. So, when the game starts, don't forget the build order is 13 Overlord, 16 Hatch, 18 Pool, 20 Gas. Fuck, I'm so used to Mechabellum. I'm like trying to move my camera around like I did Mechabellum, and it's like a different game. I'm like, oh shit, it doesn't work. Alright, so double drone when the Overlord's out, and then pull your drone off the mineral line around 180 minerals, so you can have a perfectly timed hatchery. So you'd want to pull a drone right about now. So your drone's going to get there when you have probably 280 now, because you pulled slightly early. Like 260 even. There you go. And then 18 pool, 20 gas. Okay, and then now drone up to 20, take your gas. The second you hit 20, just make the gas immediately. So make your gas like in the next like 5 seconds. Make your drone right about now, and then make your gas. Perfect. And the reason why you don't want to take it off too early is because you don't want to undersaturate under 16 ever on this hatchery. So if you made that gas, even though you could have afforded it earlier, if the gas is just sitting there done and you go back down to like 14 out of 16 minerals, it's not good, because it's going to fuck your whole economy up when you're trying to do a rush tech build. Okay, so you can send that 1 drone extra down to your natural, re-rally to your natural, keep making drones. And then actually make right now, make 4 lings and 2 queens. So if you made only 2, the next larva, commit those to 2 more lings. And then also make an overlord when you can. Okay. Also, I should have told you, sorry, you want to make a 20 overlord too, because I'm like, you are supply blocked right now, and that's not ideal, but it's not that bad, because you actually made an overlord like still good enough to not be supply blocked for too long. But 20 overlord is ideally what you want to do, so you would be making the overlord before your lings. So keep making drones, and make a layer, and then make a 3rd queen, and make another overlord when you can. So double inject. And then you would, right about now is when you'd send 1 ling out across the map. You'd want to make sure your overlord at the natural doesn't die. You'd want to move it like behind his mineral line or something. and then you would just send one ling out to like both thirds. So I'd say, sorry, so send 2 lings out, but like 1 to both of his thirds. And then just make drones. And re-rally, or you did. You have a couple extra drones in your main, but it's fine. Just keep making drones. As soon as you make these drones, make a roach one. Because you can afford it now. Just to be safe. And then keep making drones. Make your overlord or your injects, sorry. Make another overlord 2 when you can. Make 1 creep tumor with one of your extra queens at your natural. Now take all your gases and take a hydrogen. And re-rally your main base to your main base now. So you don't undersaturate your main because you're going to be under now. Keep making drones. You want to drone up to 44.
Oh,
45 actually.
yeah.
You want to drone up to 45.
Been a minute, hope you've been well, smile.
Theo, thank you, Only Did. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the 14. Appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, saturate your main base with the gas. Now you can re-rally to the natural again. Just you're good. You actually need 1 more drone on gas at your natural, and then 1 more drone overall. And then make a lurker den. And start making Hydralisk here. And start also at a Hydra upgrade. I would say start Hydra range. Because if he rushes you early, Hydra range will be nice defensively at giving you like a better concave. It also is easier to support your lurkers with more range. Because you're baiting him into you, not rushing into him. And then right about now, I would say you have a lot of money. Just make your 3rd base. If you ever realize in your game you have a lot of money like this, just make your 3rd faster. Because you're not spending money as fast as you could, but it's totally fine. I would say too, just make a couple more queens. Just make a couple more queens. And then just keep making hydras for now and make it more overlord. And then just in a second here, you're going to have some supply open when your overlord pops, and you're going to have some hydras. Make 3 lurkers as a prio. Just 3 lurker right now. And then spend the rest of your gas on hydra, and now spend excess on droning and rally all your hatcheries to your 3rd base. And then get ready to start moving out now. Inject your bases 1 more time and grab all your queens. Like literally grab all queens. So you're going to have 5 queens in this attack. And then make another queen at each base. So all 5 queens, all lurker, all hydra. Make new queens. And make hydras again. And maybe make like 2 overlords. Make another upgrade 2 on your hydrogen when you can. When you have 100 gas, get hydra speed. And now be careful with your army. So make drones while you're walking. But be careful with your army. Do not have it go too single file. This is also why we talked about like the overlords. I know I didn't tell you to do it, but overlords like that. Overlord shitting creep kind of where the queens are right now might help. Just drop 1 tumor there or something. But it's okay. Just to go for the attack. And you would just, at your 3rd base now, you'd make a couple gases if you had your drones there. There's a few extra drones in your natural and main, but it's okay. But yeah, this is when you take your extra gas, and then you keep making hydras with all your gas, and you make drones with your excess, no gas, but excess minerals. And you can just go for the attack right now. I would say just go for the attack. The best thing you can do in this kind of situation is just re-rally your hatcheries away from where he's attacking you. So like rally your hatcheries to like inside your back behind your main mineral line or something, and then just go attack him. And burrow your lurkers in your attack. Keep making hydras. You could also keep making roaches now, like roach and hydra, defensively. But you'd want to like uprow the lurkers and move forward. Your whole army kind of went back. So, I'd say it's okay. You want to run it again, and this time we'll like just do it a couple times, and we'll really fine tune it for you, like get like the timings of like when you should be doing what.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're very nice to that computer.
Yeah.
All right. Overall, not bad. So I would say if you want my biggest advice I can give you after watching that, biggest thing you'd want to do is really just make sure you're spinning your larva as fast as you can, because that definitely your money went up pretty fucking high pretty fast. And then if you spend your money a little bit faster, it's going to allow you to take your gas a little bit faster, and it's going to allow you to have your timing get ready to go a little bit faster. So, and then also your creep needs some love, some touch up, because if you're going to bring queens as well, creep non-existent is going to make the queens kind of useless. So what we're going to do to change this now is I'm going to remind you to inject and spin. I'm going to give you like the build order, but I'm going to keep reminding you to like spin your fucking larva. And then also I'm going to tell you when to do your overlords, and when you're going to send your overlords is going to start at when you're at 20 supply. So when I tell you to make overlord number 3, essentially, because overlord number 1 is what you start with. Overlord number 2 you make at 13 supply. Overlord number 3 you make at 20 supply. So you're going to make that overlord, you're going to pair that when you make the gas. And as soon as you make that overlord, you're going to start moving your overlord out at your natural towards a cliff spot. And then you're going to move your next overlord that's being built towards the next area that's able to be hidden on the map by, you know, not being killed by a stalker or something. And then as soon as you make your Hydra den, and you start your Lurker den, as soon as you start the Lurker den, that's when you're going to move all the overlords into position to like move towards a spot where they can shit creep out and have the queens run a lot faster. And you can drop a tumor here and there along the creep. So I'll remind you of all these timers, but definitely I would say the biggest thing to work on there for you would literally be the timing attack with the queens, and that'll help a lot. But anyways, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. And if you have any questions, you know, as always, feel free to ask. Okay. So 13 overlord, 16 hatch, 18 pool, 20 gas overlord. And I would say with this too, against your friend, if you ever have a tendency to forget your first overlord, maybe just send it to his hidden spot over his cliff right away instead of trying to scout anywhere around his natural. Because if you forget about it and it dies, it's going to fuck your build up a lot.
Yeah. Zerg problems.
Yep. Okay, so double drone, and then at 180, pull a drone off the middle line. And try to ideally not do a close patch if you can. So pull drone right now. Good, good. And then you'll get there with a nice 3 hundo in the bank, and you can just insta-build it. And then 18 pool, so keep making drones. Don't stop spinning your larva. Good shit. And then get ready to build a pool. And then build your pool, and 20 gas first right away. As soon as you hit 20, just immediately take a gas, and then make it, and then save for an overlord after that. So 20 now gas, and then as soon as you make this overlord, start moving your overlord from your natural out towards the next cliff spot. So make an overlord now. You can move this towards like the middle of the map on a cliff spot, and the egg that is, and you can also move your existing overlord towards the even closer cliff spot. So like, you should start covering the middle of the map. Now saturate your gas, make one more drone. So you're at 20 supply, and now save for 4 lings and 2 queens right now. Okay, so now you are protected from any type of adept attack, and you have queens on the way, which is perfect. Now go back to droning. And you're going to want to make 1 overlord with your next larva and then 1 drone. Because you're about to make a 3rd queen and you're going to hit really high, close to supply cap really soon. So there you go, good shit. And then You can send 1 ling to each of his thirds for now. That's fine. And then get ready for a layer and a third queen and double inject. Keep making your drones. Now go ahead and throw down a roach horn because you spent all your larvae. So you can be safe. Your build's going amazing this time. This is very good. Keep making drones. Make 1 overlord when you can. Next with the next larva you get. Because again, your injects are going to pop off, so you're going to supply cap if you don't make an overlord. So now make drones. And now once you make all these drones, which will take a sec, and make sure you inject and make sure you spread creep in a second here. Take a second when you can too for the next overlord that you just made to go towards the next cliff spot in the middle of the map or something. Closer towards like now your base-ish, but still mid-map. Keep making drones when you can. And I would say now you should probably want to take all of your gases and get ready to take a hydrogen. And you don't have to make the roaches if you don't feel like you're gonna get attacked. Okay, it's just if you're feeling the need to. Make a hydrogen. You did good shit. And then keep making drones. Make an overlord again when you can. And make creep. Spawn some creep tumors. Saturate those gases. Make sure your main base has more. Okay, you re-rallied. That's good shit. Spawn or saturate those gases at your natural. You're gonna want to drone up 2 more drones, so you can make a lurker den right now, and then you can also get your third base started when you're ready for that. So and then I'll get Hydra speed. Or sorry, range. I meant to say Hydra range. And now make a couple more overlords and start making some hydras. And now this is when you're gonna want to move the overlords. So inject first, prio, then spin your larva. That's another priority. Definitely the priorities right there. Make overlord, make it like 2 more overlords just because you're going to make really expensive units. And make hydras as soon as you can. So make some hydras. And now move your overlords while you're making hydras. So go to the middle of the map and move overlords. Okay, if you see this though, wait on it. So if you feel like, oh, he's got fucking move out coming, just chill. This would be a moment where it's like, if I need roaches, you can make roaches. But it's fine, don't make roaches. Just make more queens. And make more hydras right now. Inject your base and get ready to defend yourself. I'd say maybe pull back for a second and get more of your queens together and stuff like that. You almost got it. Keep making units. Good job, you defended. So now take a third base when you can. Just regroup yourself for a second. Start making lurkers and take a third base. And inject your bases. And get Hydra speed as well when you can. And again, make 3 lurkers now as a priority. And then start making drones with your excess larva. And rally it to the third base. So 2 more lurkers. You can afford it right now. Make overlords as well. So you have, do you have an overlord in production? I don't think you do. I would say make like, literally make like 5. You're gonna,
Overlord?
Yeah. So like 3 more, there you go, that's good. Okay, so, cause you're making hydras now, so your supply is gonna ramp up so much fucking faster. Start moving across the map, and move your overlords in position again, take a shit creep out. And while you're doing this, pull all your queens. Pull all your army, pull all your queens, and do 1 more inject before you pull all your queens. So, try to inject 1 more time. Grab everything. Make hydras. Go attack. So make a new queen in every base. 1 new queen in every base. And grab your queens and lurkers in the middle of the map right now.
I never burn.
Okay. And then make lurker, or sorry, make hydras and go, go, go. And then you want to back up your hydras right now that are already fighting, because the idea you want to have happen is you want to burn the lurkers and fight with the lurkers. You want them to start the fight like that, exactly. And if he runs back, you can now move forward. And you can leapfrog the lurkers too. if you need to. But I would say since he backed up, just move them both. And burrow them like in front of his base. And cover your lurkers, but don't engage with hydras before lurker. Make sure you drag him into lurkers all the time. And then when you get a second, try to like take your gas at your third when you're just waiting for units to regroup like this. Maybe shit creep with that overlord at your push, so you are okay, good shit. That's a good fight for you. You're fighting into lurker with hydras covering that. You dominate. And with an aggressive overlord like you just have right there, it'd be great now to make it an overseer after you make creep like that. That way you can snipe observers.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good idea.
You can make a couple more lurkers now too if you want to, and then saturate those gas at your third. You did. Now this is when you could be like, all right, maybe I could take a fourth base if my money's high. I could saturate my third. I could now go into infestation pit and go into a hive and get lurker upgrades if you want to, if the game's going to continue somehow. All that stuff. And you would just keep leapfrogging lurkers into his face and like killing his base. Like drag him into you. Only attack with hydras if he fights into you and loses a fight. And then you go, oh, you got nothing. Oh, now I'll push you. But if you push into him without your lurkers there and he hasn't lost a fight yet, and you lose your whole hydra line or a lot of your hydra line and then back up to the lurkers, you're just going to lose the fight then. So you definitely want him to come towards you first. I would say definitely make more lurkers than 3 now too. Once you get to the point to where you're like at 3 base gas, this is when you want to have more like 8 lurkers instead of like 2 or 3.
Did he just kill my tumor with a cannon?
I don't think so. I think you killed him. I don't know. I don't think he did. Okay, and you can just keep burrowing the lurkers forward more and more. Like, just slowly leapfrogging them forward. You can probably knock that cannon out with them. And then, I would say right now would be a great time to, like, don't forget to inject your bases. Don't forget to relocate your drones in your main base and stuff. Like, you definitely would want to take a 4th base. Because your drones are going to mine, like, your natural's also mining out now. So don't get too fucking tunnel visioned on this attack. Maybe throw a transfuse at that lurker in the front. Take an infestation pit when you can. Get ready to go for a hive because that'll make your lurkers way more effective. I would also say if you're going to go infestation pit, the second you throw that down, make an evo chamber and start getting upgrades as well. So that way you're not going to fall super far behind if this game goes on. And you'd want to go for just missile weapon. And then your drones at your 3rd base aren't mining. Make sure those are mining. Don't forget to inject all your bases. And if you get to a point like this too, this is also another way you can win the game if you contain him like this. If he's on 2 fucking bases and you're at like max supply and he's on literally 2 bases getting contained like this, you could probably just push into him and kill him just like you are right now. Because he'll be starving. And as long as you don't run into like a bunch of fucking storm and lose all your hydras like horribly. And if he does have storm, leapfrog, push your lurkers and you're fine. And you can just transfuse them through the storm. It would be easy peasy. But if that's the case, then you obviously could do that. But if that's not the case, and he doesn't have storm or he doesn't have crazy fucking AoE, you could probably just win the game like you're doing right now. Because he won't have as much money as you. Nice. The last thing I would say you should do, and if you do have a position like this, something you should do that's really good is your overseer. You should drop 2 changelings out of it, and you should scout for hidden bases on the corners of the map. Like any expansion that has not been explored, you just scout those, and you go, does this guy, is he hiding a base on me right now? Because yeah, he's contained on 2 bases, but is he really? And if he's not contained, then you would just go fucking kill it, right?
Go ham.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
So how do you feel about it?
I'll practice this. Yeah, this is a fun build. Bam. No chance. That's this AI.
Yeah. Another thing you could do too, if you want to, I would probably do this if the game was going to continue. when I told you to build a infestation pit and an evo chamber, what I would probably do if I were you is I would actually add 2 evo chambers, make an infestation pit, and also get metabolic boost for Zergling. And then I would get melee and missile weapons. So both weapon upgrades. That way you can then actually add in some Zerglings into your gameplay once you're on Hive Tech, and they could have like adrenal gland melee upgrades, which would help a lot with like counterattacking bases and stuff like that.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, but you definitely don't want to do that early, because if you do that early and you're not even going to use Lings in your push early, you're probably going to fail. Like the push is probably going to die. And Lurker Ling is hard in general to do early against Protoss, unless you're going to like Nidus it, I guess. Even then it's kind of hard because that's even more gas, right? For a fucking Nidus now. That would definitely need a lot of queens. But Lurker Ling is it's just very fragile if you put it incorrectly positioned. So Hydra Lurker is a little bit more easy to run as the guy who's playing the build, because all you got to do is bait the army into you by having your lurkers siege the edge of the base, and you can actually even though it's not even a Hive Tech Lurker, you can still actually outrange like a cannon and a fucking, basically every unit besides like an immortal. But even then, like obviously if it's an immortal, like you'll be equally shooting each other at range without Hive Tech, really, more or less, because immortal they can just walk forward, poke you, walk back. But at that point, you could maybe snipe an observer, or you could, as soon as you see him walking forward to the lurker, walk forward with your hydras. If he walks back, you walk back. You don't chase him. You just make sure you always protect the lurker. And if you get creep over there with your push, you then activate the ability to not only walk faster, but also you can then also transfuse your fucking lurkers, etc., etc.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
there an easy way to just know or identify all those cliff spots, or do you have to like open up the map and like really
Yeah,
analyze it?
I would say just like usually most maps are going to have some type of like elevated terrain, and on that map it was like the boxes that are like near the ramp that are they're just like it almost looks like a statue is like on the map all over the place. That's probably the easiest way to look, just look and see and go, okay, I could definitely hide above that. There's like that fucking ring where it's like, I think it's like a gold ring or a brown ring on the towers you just saw in that last map, but it's like a fucking ring that signifies, it's like a terrain that can be, that is there, that is on another terrain already, which means it's an elevated terrain. So here, let me do it like this. Let me show you like this. If you look at the stream for a second, I'll show you what I mean instead of trying to explain it like that, because it might make it easier to visualize it if you see it. So what I'm talking about is like, for instance, like this bush right here is not a okay, I'll go really slow because I know you're gonna have stream delay if you're watching the stream for a second. But like this bush right here is not a hiding spot for an overlord. This bush right here is not a hiding spot for an overlord. Like none of this stuff is a hiding spot. But you can see if the overlord is on the high ground as opposed to on the low ground, that is, the whole high ground is a hiding spot above the low ground because it's a different level of terrain, and units can't see a higher level of terrain unless they're on that level of terrain, if they're a ground unit. So this right here is not a hiding spot because that is not a different level of terrain. However, this tower right here is a different level of terrain because you can see the terrain around it, and then this blockade is on top of it. This like little dome thing is put on it, but the dome doesn't matter. It's the terrain elevation that matters. Just like in the middle of the map, it's the terrain elevation that matters. So all you have to look for is terrain elevation, because again, like those rocks aren't terrain elevated. That little like tower right there is not terrain elevated. So if you put an overlord right there on like a little bit right there, it's not going to hide it. It's not a terrain elevated spot. This is not terrain elevated. This is terrain elevated right here. This, again, because you can see the significance of like the terrain on the outside, like the ground essentially, like because you can see right here. This is like the border for the ground you're on right here. With this is the this level of terrain is that border right there. And now there's a new one that's elevated on a new border of terrain. So this is now a higher level terrain. This terrain right here is the same level as the main base. But a ground unit standing right there can't see all the way over to this spot. So you literally can't see it. But yeah, I hope, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As a terrain player, I never think about the terrain.
Yeah.
Like that.
So you definitely like every map will have stuff like that. Every map has because every map is like balanced in some way for like some overlord scouting. There's always going to be little spots like that. Just know that certain things don't count. Like that doesn't count right there that I'm green boxing right now. This doesn't have any type of terrain elevation. There's, even though it looks like it might be an elevated piece of terrain where you're like, oh yeah, this would totally work. If there was a marine standing right there at the bottom or a stalker and your overlord sitting above this spot like right there, that would not actually hide it. Because this is like art. It's like artistic. Same with this right here. This right here, that little tower thing right there, would not hide an overlord. If you set your overlord right there above that, it would not hide the overlord. Because it's actually just like art for the map. There's no terrain elevation. Exactly. It's basically all based off of the floor. It's not based off of the ceiling. So what I mean by that is an overlord, whether you realize it or not, it looks like it's a flying unit, but it's actually attached to the ground. Like every air unit in this game is attached to the fucking floor. They're all attached to the... There is no Z-axis in this game. There's an X-axis and a Y-axis, like a left, right, and up and down in terms of like north and south, but not vertically up and down in terms of altitude. Like there's no altitude in this game for like a flying unit. There's only altitude elevations for the floor, and this ramp signifies a elevation change, and it's signified that it's an elevation change because it has a border of terrain. All ground in this game has terrain border, and that's how they separate levels in this game of like levels of altitude. So if you want to know if there's a hiding spot for an overlord, that is this tower right here is actually built on the ground floor. So the overlord is going to be attached to the ground floor when you sit above that. Even though you think logically, oh, I'm sitting above it, right? You're not though. You're sitting on the ground floor. Your overlord's ass is actually attached to the floor right now, so it's very visible when it's right there. But if you were to sit right there, if you were sitting overlord right like to the left of it on the, which it looks like it's in the complete open, right? And you'd be like, oh, you can totally see that. But if a marine was standing right there on like the ground, and an overlord is sitting on the high ground, you physically can't see it then because it's on a different elevation of terrain. But then obviously, if a marine walked up the ramp, he would see the overlord because there's no hiding spot. Because then now he's on the same elevation. But a marine can't walk to this elevation right here because there's no way you can get up there other than flying onto it. So that's why that's a hiding spot for an overlord. And like again, that's
nice.
like that's that one, etc., etc. And again, all maps have stuff like this. So yeah, can you drop a marine up there? No, you can't drop marines. You can't drop units on those cliffs. Well, yeah, like, does that make sense for all that stuff though?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, because yeah, the thing about overlords is, if you notice, this is actually something that like a lot of people don't really think about. This is actually something that I would teach people to when it comes to casting spells. But like, do you see this overlord right now, like on the screen? This overlord is like, it looks like it's where it is, right? You're like, oh yeah, this overlord is flying right there, but this overlord actually is not where it looks like it is. It is actually right there on that fucking circle on the ground. That's why it has a circle like that. That actually signifies where it actually is. So it's not actually where it visibly is. It's where the circle is. The visibility of the overlord is actually just for like fucking visibility. Like, oh, an overlord is over there, is in this area. But the circle is actually where it's located in the game. That's how the game registers it. So, like, for instance, if you had Psionic Storm with Templars, or like Fungal Growth or some shit, and you were to cast it directly at the Overlord, it would miss. Because you're not actually throwing it at the Overlord. But if you threw it at the circle on the floor, you'd hit it. Like, watch this. I'll show you one more example of this, just for fun. Just because this is actually really interesting. A lot of people don't know this. And then I guess we'll ask more. If you have any more questions, we'll break that down for you. But or if you want to run the build one more time, we can do that too. But how are you feeling about it so far?
Yeah, no, that's really good.
Okay.
The terrain stuff, and I've never even thought about that. I thought you just had to like brute force it, or like just know it.
So it depends on the playstyle, right? And your playstyle is low amount of unit with really fast tech, so you definitely want to set fights up for that. But instead of going for like, let's say you didn't go for a Hydra Lurker all in. Let's say you just wanted to make 4 Lurkers, so you would only make 4 Hydras to make 4 Lurkers with those, and you're going to go mass Roaches. That would be a little more brute forcey, but then you'd have no answer to like if he went Stargate. And also it would be weaker if he goes fucking Immortals too, because you have Roaches now. And Roaches are just going to get popped by Immortals and shit. But anyways, check this out. Watch this shit. This is a cool example, I feel like. So a lot of people get Storm really fast. A lot of people would be like, oh, I'm going to cast a Storm at that Overlord. And you think like, I'm going to Storm that Overlord, right? You cast a Storm at it. You're going to Storm the shit out of it. And the Overlord takes no damage. And you're like, wait, what the fuck? How come the Overlord took no damage? I'm literally casting directly on it. Like my cursor, my little target crosshair is right in his fucking forehead right now. Like his little eyeballs are right there on the bottom of it. And his forehead is right there. And you cast on it. And it doesn't even hit the Overlord. And again, it's because the Overlord is actually at the circle. And it's not actually where it is. So I could cast the Storm right there, which is way the fuck off the Overlord, right? You're like, oh yeah, that Overlord is way at a position of that. And it hits the Overlord. The Overlord's
Like
not
even below there.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not even visibly in the Overlord, right? Like it looks like it's not even hitting the Overlord. Yet it is. And the reason why is because the effect, the AoE effect of the Storm is enough to hit the fucking circle. And another way you can signify it until it's going to hit it is 2 things happen. One thing is the Overlord actually starts, the unit you're going to cast a spell on starts flashing. So look at the Overlord's skin right now. It visibly flashes when you do it. Another way you can tell is a red circle is going to highlight around the Overlord now, signifying this target is going to be attacked by what you're doing. But notice how like this Storm circle, not once has it gone to the actual graphic of the Overlord. I'm never even putting it over there. I'm always putting it around the fucking circle on the floor. So it's pretty big deal for air units to not fuck that up. Because a lot of people will constantly be like, oh my god, Overlords. And then you just like fucking, or like Mutas. And they just try to cast on it and they don't even hit the fucking unit half the time because it's fucking too high.
So Storm isn't that OP. You still have to actually hit the target that you...
So if it's ground units, it doesn't, like ground units don't matter because ground units are exactly where they are. So notice how like this, notice how a Zergling, or sorry, let me get rid of this really fast. Notice how like this Overlord has a circle on the ground right there. That circle is a signifier for an air unit, but notice how the Zergling does not have that. There's no circle on the ground for the Zergling. It is the circle around the Zergling, just like there's a circle around the Overlord, right? But there's no actual circle like with a line on it like an Overlord has for a Zergling, like a leash or some shit. That just doesn't exist. And that's because a Zergling is actually where it is. So if you actually cast the spell at a ground unit, it will hit the ground unit. But for an Overlord, like, because like if you think about it too, this right here represents Zergling and Overlord are on the same spot. It doesn't look like the same spot, but they are on the same spot. But if you put a Zergling like this, right there, suddenly now it's like, oh yeah, Overlord and Zergling are in the same spot. And the reason why it's fucked up and why that's not actually real is because you look at this game from like a 45-degree angle. That's how you, because you're not looking at it from a top down exactly. You're looking at it from like 45 degrees. So it doesn't line up properly. So now if I were to Storm the Overlord, like you said before, I'm not going to hit the Zergling, but I'm going to hit the Overlord, right? And now if I want to Storm the Zergling, it's going to look like I hit both of them, but it's only going to hit the fucking Zergling. Because we're looking at this game from an angle. It's like a fucking like a diagonal line for the camera to the floor. It's not a straight line up and down, which is why air units don't line up like this. Which is why they had to add circles to the floor like that. So and now if you're wondering, Vibe, why the fuck are we even talking about this? This has nothing to do with the coaching lesson we're even talking about. It actually does, because The reason why, it's super easy to hide overlords if you understand that concept. And if you go like this, oh, I'm going to hide my overlord, and you do that right there. So the pretending feature I'm going to say here is, let's say these 4 zerglings I just put in a box is a cliff, okay? And if you put your overlord like that, that overlord is not hiding on the cliff. You can tell because the circle's outside of the cliff. If you do this right here, that overlord is still not hiding because you're on the border of the cliff. So his ass is hanging off and you can still be seen. But if you do that, your overlord is successfully now hidden in the cliff. You're within the confines of the perimeter here. You're within the safe zone. And anywhere in this realm of like movement, your overlord would be safe. Because you're within the walls of the cliff. You're not on the wall, you're not over the wall, you're inside of the walls, inside the actual cliff. And you're hidden. Because a lot of times...
The ass is covered.
Yeah, and a lot of times what people do, they literally fucking do this. They will go like this. Alright, let's line my overlord up. Okay, good. We're inside. Like, they'll think, again, the graphic of the overlord is what needs to be inside. No, it's not. It's fucking way off the cliff now. Because, again, you're there. You're at where the circle is. You're not actually on the cliff anymore. So, and again, if people just click into it too, the game is smart enough to realize it for you. If you just click in the middle and you just say, I'm done, it will set it up perfectly to where the circle will go to where you said it was. It won't make the actual graphic of the overlord itself go there. It'll make the circle go there. So as long as you don't fuck that up, you're obviously going to be fine. Just making sure you understand what's going on. If like you ever misclick your overlord and let's say you accidentally click right there because you're going really fast, and now you're confused when it's like panic moment where, oh my god, I'm getting shot. What the fuck? Why? And you're like, oh my god, line him up. And you're like going over the cliff constantly like that, and it just dies. People do that. Like, it's really easy to not fuck it up when nothing's happening. But a lot of people that don't understand this concept fuck it up all the time when it's like, why am I getting shot by a stalker? I'm literally hiding on it. How come this is still happening? And then they just lose the overlord because they don't realize it's actually based off the fucking circle. But yeah, anyways, hopefully that was enlightening for some people. But Flyrev, we still have time if you'd like. Would you like to? How are you feeling? What are you thinking here?
No, I'm feeling good.
Feeling like you're ready to smash your friend?
Yeah. Just have to practice the multitasking. The creep in particular is I always forget that.
Okay.
I have to put a note on my wall or something.
So I'm gonna quiz you one time, okay? Really fast, verbally here. I want you to give me a general gist of the build in terms of what you do from the start of the game until what you like when you actually start attacking him. Like, you don't have to tell me like moving your units properly or something like that. I just want like build order. So up until the point when you like move out with your hydras, how do you get there from your best recollection of your knowledge that you just went through?
So it's 16, 18, 20. That's hatchery, fuel and gas.
Yep, in that order.
And
specifically.
then you drone up a bit, and after a while you get the roach warren for safety. Then
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. Really fast. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. I'll cut you off every once in a while just because I want to actually get your mindset as to why. Do you know why you build the roach warren when you build it?
Yeah, it's because then you don't die if they make 5 adepts.
So that's true. But what I mean economically is why I'm asking it. Do you know when you build it and why you build it at that moment?
Oh yeah, it's that's the like optimal timing for minerals.
Yeah,
like you have the minerals at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Like the main one was just making. I think you know it. I think I'm not gonna beat around the bush all day because I think you understand it. But I'll just say the main one is once you have 0 larvae, that's the main. That's when you build it.
Oh yeah.
That's that. Once your queens are started and your lings are started, and you spend all your larvae down to 0, and then you also have 150. That's when you build the roach warren.
Right.
So it'll probably be like 2 more larvae after that, and then you'll be good. Okay, so continue. Sorry to interrupt you, but keep going.
No, it's hydro then, a bit more drones, get up to 2 base saturation, take all the gases, all of that, and make 2 or 3 lurkers, spread some creep, spread some overlords with creep, preferably cover the overlords' asses.
Not bad.
And don't let the lurkers attack on their own, like protect them.
Yeah, I'd say a big one too. You don't want to fuck this up. If you ever, at any point in time, if this ever happens to you, if you're like, oh fuck, I have like 700 minerals, just go take a third. Just literally take a third base. Just stop what you're doing. Go take a third, like right away, because you're what that means is your timing is already getting kind of fucked up, and you're most likely going to be forced into a macro game now, and you can still be aggressive with an opener. It's just less likely to do severe amounts of damage, and it's going to rotate into a macro game regardless. And if you have like 700 minerals, 800 minerals, something around that number, you're going to be able to spend your larva and still have money to afford the hatchery. So and all that, and why that's happening is it's because you may have just had an oversight where you didn't inject properly, or you just forgot to spend some larva for a little while. So ideally, you don't want that to happen. But if it does, expand like to a third right away. Another one is when you take your it's going to be like the next inject that pops off your hatchery after you start your layer. Once you spend all of your larva on that, and you spin it all down, and your mineral lines are looking great. You have like 17 or 16 on the main base. You have like 12 on the natural, and you just made like 7 more drones now to saturate. At that point, their layer at this point is like 75 to 80% of the way done. It's okay to build gas at that point going forward, because you're about to make a hydrogen, and you're about to fucking blast off into like hydro and lurker. Like shortly after that.
Yeah.
So just make sure that's when ideally the latest you should be making your gas is when you make the hydrogen. The earliest you should make the gas is the timing I just said, when you spend all your larva and your layer is about to turn into a layer. Like right before it. Yeah.
Try to bundle it up with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Just as long as you're not like making your gas when you make your lurker den, because if you do that, you're gonna have no fucking units. You're gonna have like 1,200 minerals.
Right.
And that's like a really important part. And the last part is if the game does have to transition, you can definitely, I would say just do double Evo Infestation Pit, and then go Hive, and then get Ling upgrades, get Lurker upgrades, and just go Hydro Ling Lurker. And like continue being aggressive with that now. Because at that point, you won't want to make drones anymore, right? You want to just make Lings instead.
Right, yeah.
And don't be afraid to make some drones when you spend all your fucking gas when you're in the Hydra development phase, because what that'll do for you is that'll allow you to make gas at your third quickly, which allows you to really ramp up the aggression with Hydra Lurker. That's why when I was saying around now you should have like 8 Lurkers, that's what's going to do it for you. You're gonna have the tech of the Hydralisk unlocked already at that point, which is no more gas requirement on that. Ideally, you're not going to be losing Hydras like crazy because you're guarding Lurkers. So fights might stall out a little bit. If he does get aggressive, then you take good fights ideally because you're fighting with Lurker. But the worst thing you can do is just run the Hydras in, let them all fucking die, run Lurkers away, make new Hydras, and then start over. Like that's obviously going to fuck you if you play like that. So keeping the Hydras defensively guarding Lurkers is the best way to go, and then only retaliate with aggression when he loses a fight, and then go fucking ham and maximize time on like pouncing on him when he's weak. But yeah, because you can definitely the only circumstance, there's only one circumstance that will exist when you need to just go for it, and that's if he's out sieging you. So if there's a situation where he has either Colossus range or disruptors, and you don't yet have Hive Tech to outrange Colossus. Actually, I think there's a bug in the game too right now that makes Colossus have 10 fucking range now or some shit. That's what I've been seeing on Twitter. So you could theoretically never outrange Colossus. You'll either match their range or have less than them if he has the range upgrade. So anyway, either way, if you're getting outranged and he's picking you apart while you're just sitting there, obviously then you have to just go for it. But if that's not the case, and he's like trying to like run at you with like immortals and like zealots and stalkers or whatever, definitely try to like guard your Lurkers and just have Lurkers poke his base until he like moves forward, and then guard him as he moves forward, and then if he runs away, you stay and guard your Lurkers, and just keep growing your army and like kill his base or something.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds awesome.
All right, man.
Right.
Well,
thank you.
Yeah, man. Would you like me to? I guess I can save my replay that I made for you, and I can send it to you as well. That way you have
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, thank you.
my version. All right, dude. Well,
Right.
dude, thank you. It's always good talking to you, man. And I wish you the best of luck at meeting your buddy.
Thank you. Peace.
All right, later, man. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Oh yeah.
All right, thanks guys for watching. Appreciate you.
What game?
Guys, thank you very much for watching the coaching lesson. Good luck in your own games as well. This is kind of a quick coaching lesson with my boy FlyRev. But yeah, good luck in your own games, guys. If you want to try out your own Lurker build, I kind of made him a custom one more or less for him because he's playing his friend, who is Diamond League. They're Diamond 3 specifically, and I gave him some ideas on how to play an aggressive Lurker style. So much love, everybody. Take it easy. Good luck in your own games, and peace, guys.